Welcome everyone to the College Board released SAT practice test number 10. Today I will walk you through section 3, the no calculator math section. And a quick reminder, in the description I have marked timestamps for all 20 questions, so feel free to just jump around and find the question that you need help on. So let's get started. Number 1, what value of z satisfies the equation above? So we have 2z plus 1 equals z. I'm going to subtract z from both sides. So that's z plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from both sides, so z equals -1. So 1 is B. Number 2, a television with a price of $300 is to be purchased with an initial payment of $60 and weekly payments of $30. Which of the following equations can be used to find the number of weekly payments, W, required to complete the purchase assuming there are no taxes or fees? So we are trying to find out the number of weekly payments. So we are starting with $0 and building up money rather than paying it off. So we're going in the positive direction. So our initial payment is 60. So we need to see a plus 60, which is in C, and $30 a week, so 30, and then W for number of weeks. So 2 is C, because 60 bucks initial plus however many weeks we pay $30, and that'll tell us how many weeks it takes to pay off the entire price of the television. Number 3, the table above shows shipping charges for an online retailer that sells sporting goods. There is a linear relationship between the shipping charge and the weight of the merchandise, which function can be used to determine the total shipping charge f of x in dollars for an order with a merchandise weight of x pounds. So let's try and find the slope, because we are given 4 equations with different slopes. So we can see that we have $5 up to 10 pounds, so this is a change of 5 on the x. And our change in y, well, let's say this 1694 is roughly 17, and this 2189 is roughly 22, which means that there's a difference of 5. And so a change in y over change in x for our slope gives us 5 over 5, or about slope of 1. So it can't be C or D. And then we know that if we go back down from this 5, we get to 0, which will tell us our y-intercept, or this plus 11.9 or plus 16.94, which means we have to go backward 5 from 17, which is about 12. So it's B, because it's 11.99, which is very close to 12. Number 4, the line in the xy plane above represents the relationship between the height h of x in feet and the base diameter x in feet for cylindrical Doric columns in ancient Greek architecture. How much greater is the height of a Doric column that has a base diameter of 5 feet than the height of a Doric column that has a basic height of 2 feet? So we see along the x-axis we have the different base diameters. So if we have at 2, that means we have a height of 14, and at 5 we are at 35 for the height of this cylindrical Doric. So 35 minus 14 is 21. So 4 is C. Number 5, if x is greater than 0, which of the following is equivalent to the given expression? So it wants the square root of 9x squared. So what's the square root of 9? Well, that's 3. So we know it can't be C or D. And the square root of x squared, well, what times x gets x squared? Well, that's x times x. So multiplying something by itself, if you undo that, you get the square root. So 1x. So 5 is A. Number 6, what are all values of x that satisfy the equation above? So we have x squared minus 1 over x minus 1 equals -2. We can multiply both sides by x minus 1. That cancels on the left side, so we get x squared minus 1 equals -2x plus 2. We can add everything to the left side, so I'm going to add 2x and subtract 2 from both sides. X squared plus 2x minus 3 And now we can factor this, so that is going to be x plus 3 and then x minus 1. So our solutions are negative 3 and positive 1. But now we have to figure out if these are correct solutions by plugging them back in. So let's plug in negative 3. That's negative 3 squared minus 1 over negative 3 minus 1 equals negative 2. Well, negative 3 squared is 9 minus 1 is 8. So 9 minus 1 equals 8 over negative 4, which is negative 2. So it can't be B and it can't be C. And so the problem with choice D is that it says negative 3 and negative 1, but negative 1 is not a solution, so 6 is A. Number 7. The graph of y equals f of x is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of f of 0? So f of 0 means when you're on the x-axis, which is right here, and you're at 0, which is the origin, you can go up or down and determine where the function hits. So if we go up, we see that the graph intersects the y-axis at 4. So 7 is D. Number 8, in the graph figure above, point B lies on the line AD. What is the value of 3x? Well, since we know that this angle is a right angle, it's 90 degrees. And because it's on a line, this other side must also be 90 degrees because they are supplementary angles. So it's 90 plus 90 to get the 180 degrees in a supplementary angle. So we can add up all the x's. X plus 2x plus 2x equals 90 because this whole half is also 90 degrees. So 5x equals 90. We divide both sides by 5. So 90 divided by 5 is going to be 18. And then the value of 3x. So it's 18 times 3, or 54. Number 9. Which of the following is an equation of line L in the xy plane? So we can find the equation of our line in the graph and then just compare it with all the choices here. So we have a y-intercept of negative 4. So y equals nx, because we don't know our slope yet, minus 4. And then we can see that our slope is up 1 and over 1 to the left. Up 1 over 1 to the left, which indicates a negative 1 slope, because it's negative 1 over 1. So y equals negative x minus 4. So that's our equation, and we need to find that amongst choices A, B, C, D. So if we were to rewrite all these equations, you'll eventually find y equals negative x minus 4. And it looks like that is choice C, because x plus y equals negative 4. If I subtract x from both sides, that's y equals negative x minus 4. So answer is C. Number 10, the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 is shown. If the graph crosses the y-axis at the point 0k, what is the value of k? So we just saw this question. When you intersect the y-axis, you're at the origin. Your x value is the origin, so it's really y of 0. Remember earlier we saw f of 0. So we're going to plug in 0, as they say to, for the x coordinate, and then get a k, the y coordinate. So not 0 there, but instead k will equal 2 times 0 squared plus 10 times 0 plus 12. 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0, plus 10 times 0, which is 0, plus 12, so all that equals 12, so 10 is D. Number 11, a circle in the xy plane has center 5, 7 and radius 2. Which of the following is an equation of the circle? So for equations of circles, you undo the coordinates for the center, as in if your center is 5, 7, your x-coordinate will be x minus 5 squared plus y minus 7 squared, and that will equal your radius squared. In this case, 2 squared, which equals 4. And so this is choice not C or D, but choice A. Number 12. In the figure above, triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. What is the value of cosine E? So because these triangles are similar, we can do trigonometry on either one of them and get the same values. So we don't even worry about DEF. We don't worry about the fact that it wants value of cosine E. That can just as well say cosine B because they're similar triangles. So they have similar angle measures. And so cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. And so if we have angle B, we're going to go adjacent, which is at 12, and then over hypotenuse. That's 12 over 13, or B. Number 13, in the xy plane, the graph of the function f of x equals x squared plus 5x plus 4 has two x-intercepts. What is the distance between the x-intercepts? So let's first find these two x-intercepts. So we have x squared plus 5x plus 4. We need factors of 4 that multiply to get 4 and add to get 5. Well, we can use factors of 4 and 1. So x plus 4 times x plus 1 is the factored form of x squared plus 5x plus 4. And then we solve, and by doing that we set all these binomials equal to 0. So x plus 4 equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0. And then solve. So we get x equals negative 4 and a negative 1. Now what's the distance between negative 4 and negative 1, or the absolute value, you can say? Well, if we have a number line, and here's negative 1, and here's negative 4, I have to jump 3 spaces to negative 2, negative 3, and finally negative 4. So distance is always positive, so it's 3 away. Number 4, let's get some rid of this. Number 14, what are all values of x that satisfy the given equation? So we can plug in 1 and 9. We don't have to even solve the equation, we can just plug in numbers. So square root of 4 times 1 equals 1 minus 3. Well, what's the square root of 4 times 1? That is the square root of 4, which is 2, equals 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. This is not true. Negative 2 does not equal negative 2, or sorry, positive 2 does not equal negative 2. So we know that 1 cannot be a solution. So it's not A, C. Now let's test 9. The square root of 4 times 9 equals 9 minus 3. 4 times 9 is 36 equals 6, which this is true, so it's 2 only, so 14 is B. Number 15, in the system of equations above, A is a constant. For which of the following values of A does the system have no solution? So no solution means parallel lines. So we want same slope and different y-intercept. So in this case, the constant numbers, the constant terms are different, so it's just same slope. So let's write out these equations in standard form. So I can add 3x to both sides for this first equation, giving me y equals 3x plus 6. And then I have ax plus 2y equals 4. Subtract ax from both sides. 2y equals 4 minus ax. Divide everything by 2 to get y by itself. So y equals 2 minus ax over 2. And now my slope of the first line is a 3. So 3 must equal the slope of my second equation. And that slope is a negative a over 2. Solving for a, multiply by 2 on both sides. That's 6 equals negative a, so a equals negative 6. Number 16, a manufacturer shipped units of a certain product to 2 locations. The equation above shows the total shipping cost, T in dollars, for shipping C units to the closer location and shipping F units to the further location. If the total shipping cost was $47,000 and 3,000 units were shipped to the farther location, how many units were shipped to the closer location? Well, they said T is the total cost, and they just gave us the total cost, so let's substitute in what we know. $47,000 equals, we don't know how much we don't know how many units were shipped to the closer location, but we do know how many units were shipped to the farther location. That's F, so 12 times 3,000, because they told us that. So 47,000 equals 5C plus, and now 12 times 3,000 is going to be at 36,000, minus 36,000 from both sides. That is 11,000 equals 5C. And now, just to give myself a bit more room, we can divide by 5 to get what C equals. And that will be our answer. So, dividing 11,000 by 5, and we get 2, 10, 1, 0, 2, 10, 0, and then just zeros. So 2,200 units. Number 17. If A and B are the solutions to this equation above, what is the value of A minus B? So whenever you have absolute values, you just write whatever's in the absolute value. You write the equation that you're given, minus absolute value signs, and then you write the same equation, but equaling the opposite sign. So we have 2x plus 1 equals 5 and negative 5. So solving for both sides, we get 2x equals 4 divided by 2, x equals 2. Minus 1 here, we get 2x equals negative 6 divided by 2 on both sides, we get x equals negative 3. Now it wants the value of absolute value of A minus B. So absolute value of positive 2, so 2 minus negative 3, that's 2 plus 3, which is 5. The absolute value of 5 equals 5. Number 18. Juan purchased an antique that had a value of $200 at the time of purchase. Each year, the value of the antique is estimated to increase 10% over its value the previous year. The estimated value of the antique in dollars 2 years after purchase can be represented by the expression 200A, where A is a constant. What is the value of A? So, after the first year, $200 with an increase of 10%, we're going to multiply by 0.1 and then add that back to 200. So 10% of 200 is just simply, we have 200, we can move the decimal place over once because it's 10%. So we're going to add $20 to our $200, which means that after 1 year, the value is 220. Well, let's take that same 10% because now we're doing year 2. So decimal point, move once to the left. We're going to add 22 to our 220 because it's going to be compounding, which is 242. Now we have the expression 200A equals the value after 2 years, which we just figured out. 200A equals $242. Dividing both sides by 200, A equals 242 divided by 200. We can write this much more simply by dividing both top and bottom by 2, which is 121 over 100. And now since we're dividing by 100, 121, we can just move the decimal point over twice, getting us A equals 1.21. Number 19, based on the system of equations above, what is the value of 5x plus 5y? Well, usually you have to solve systems by either elimination or substitution, but in this case, there's a trick. If you just add up both of these equations, you'll get the value of 5x plus 5y, and I'll show you. So, add the equations top to bottom. We get 2x plus 3x is 5x, plus 3y plus 2y, which is a 5y, equals, well, you just add up these two constant terms, 2,500, and that's it. Number 20, if u plus t equals 5 and u minus t equals 2, what is the value of u minus t times u squared minus t squared? So, very common test question on SAT is the difference of squares. For example, this second binomial, whenever it's something squared minus something else squared, you do the square root plus and minus the other square root. Watch. u squared minus t squared becomes u minus t times u plus t, always. So now we have our expanded binomial, and we can substitute in our values. So u minus t is 2, u plus t is 5. 2 times 2 times 5 is 20. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be uploading, well, actually now I finished all SAT calculator sections. I'll have to decide whether I'll do calculator section or I'll move on to some other standardized test. So if you would like specific content, please leave suggestions in the comments below. I will make sure to answer those and to consider those. So thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.